Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joan Barnard. I will be your host and panelist for the session. In the session, we are discussing Sage accounting and how bank feeds or tips and tricks with regards to bank feeds in Sage accounting. So when I talk about Sage accounting, it used to be called Sage 1, and then it got called Sage accounting. So you will go into the internet and you will log in as follows. So this is the product that we are going to be discussing today. So Pastel Partner Express, that'll be on Thursday. And I'm not doing bank fees for Partner and Express, but I am talking about tips and tricks around bank fees with regards to Sage accounting. Now, as I'm sure many of you can appreciate, as much as you would not like me to put your bank account on the screen, I am not prepared to put my bank account on the screen. We don't have a test account, so some of these things, while I'm going to show you certain tips and tricks, I can't go fully through it because that would then display my personal banking information. But that being said, when we are talking about bank feeds, we are specifically talking about the fact that you have set up bank feeds. If any of you are using Capitec and you are going to tell me that you think there's a problem, we are aware of the problem. We have already logged up with Yardley. We're trying to find out why Capitec is having a problem. Just in case any of you want to know, yes, there is a problem with Capitec. Hopefully that'll be resolved shortly. So we're not talking about just importing your bank statements, but we're talking about quite literally clicking on the bank feeds and selecting whether you want to set up bank feeds or net cash. Net cash is something different. This is bank feeds. And if you had to say continue, it will then give you the terms and conditions. So it'll tell you what it's going to do, the fact that it's going to allow you to link to your bank directly into the Sage Banking Cloud, and that means that it's going to automatically import your data for you. So basically what you're doing is you're going, yes, I agree to this. I'm happy to allow that. Basically what it does is it does a screen scrape. It literally takes your statement. It looks at the last transactions. It takes any transactions it has not put into Sage, and it puts them into Sage depending on how you set it up. Do duplications happen? Unfortunately, yes, they do. It depends if you've had to unlink and relink. So if I had to say continue, okay, in this case, it's asking for a valid telephone number. So that is something that we can look at. Why is it not happy to continue without a valid telephone number? So you do need to have certain things set up correctly within your company settings. So we have talked about setting up your company settings, and we're talking about here it needing a valid telephone number. That is the old support number. I have no idea if it still works. And I would prefer not to put my mobile number on the screen. But basically, guys, that's what we're talking about today, is we're talking about the bank feeds, how the bank feeds work, and what you can do if you get errors or where you can go to get the information that you might need with regards to the bank feed. So I just want to see if I can get slightly further than where it took me. So that was something I wasn't aware it would do, but it's great to know that you do need a valid telephone number. And as you can see, it's now taking me to find my bank. So in this case, I would then select my bank, and it's going to ask me to use my login credential. So this is probably as far as I can take you. But basically, when you come in, you are going to enter your internet banking details here. And what you are doing is you are giving permission only for basically a screen grab. So you'll put in your username, your password, you'll click on OK. It'll then provide you with a list of accounts. So if you have multiple accounts, you can select which account you want to do the bank feed for. From there, it'll ask you to select a date that you want to import the transactions from, and it will import the transactions directly into your bank account. Now, at this point, there are certain things that I have seen happen and that are fairly common, where you go add bank and choose bank, and that screen is completely blank. You can't choose F&B, you can't choose Standard Bank. There is no bank to search. It basically just keeps looping. If that is the case, it's probably something specific that we need to look on your company, and that is where you'll get hold of our support. They will give you a support link. Normally that support link comes to me or one of the other two product specialists. We ensure that in Edge, in Chrome, in Firefox, we're getting exactly the same issue, and then we log it through to our dev team to please have a look why the screen is not allowing you to go any further. Now, what you can do is there are certain options available for you to troubleshoot, one of which is Sage Knowledge Base, which is sagekb.com. Please, whenever you come into the Sage Knowledge Base, please select Sage Business Cloud Accounting. Sage Business Cloud Accounting is the official name for Sage Accounting. So yes, it still refers to this product. Once you have gone in there, you can type in bank feeds. And what is incredibly useful is that you'll see that you've got direct feeds, setting up a bank feed. So it will walk you through. If it's got this image, it means that there's actually a video you can watch, which will show you how to do that. But then guys, here we can start to see errors. Error code 420, 429, 401, 409. And this is where this can actually help you. So updating your internet banking login details. So normally some of the most common errors, and I'm going to go into our full troubleshooting because that links to all of the other things. So I do want to put this link into the chat for you to please copy, but this is an incredibly helpful document. And the reason that this is helpful is because this actually, while it gives you a couple of steps, at the bottom, you will see that you can literally click on certain of the errors, or you can, for example, come to common errors on bank feeds. It'll take you to those common errors, and you can then click on all the different error codes, and it can give you the steps that you can try specifically for what the problem is. So either the reason, what the solution might be, or if you need to log that through to us. So that's why I've given you that specific link with regards to the troubleshooting. But in the troubleshooting, some of the most common things are the fact that you need to reauthorize your banking credentials, or if you guys have Discovery or with Standard Bank at times, those are the only two banks I have. I will often find that there are notifications that I need to click on before it takes me through to my actual account. If that is happening when you're trying to fetch your bank feeds, my first tip to you is please log in to your internet banking. So for example, if we had to go into Discovery Bank login, log in to your Discovery Bank and check that there's no message after you've logged in, nothing that you need to approve or you need to say, you know, okay, cool, I've seen this. Because if that is sitting there, it's very difficult to do a screen grab, because that notification is literally blocking Yardley, which is the third party, to access the statement. That is the only thing it's allowed to access, but it makes it incredibly difficult for us to do that. So you would need to log in, enter your username, your password, and you would go in and check if there are, in fact, any notifications. If there are no notifications, you've already eliminated something that could potentially cause your bank feeds not to work. The other thing that you can do is you can reauthorize your bank feeds. So that will be going back into manage bank feeds if you have to set them up. I mean, if no one's going to judge me, my Discovery is basically just an account that I use to pay school fees, so there's not really much in there. So I can try to set that one up if it makes more sense. They just are personal things in my Standard Bank that I don't need to be there. I'm not sure if Discovery is supported here though. Yeah, so I don't think Discovery Bank is unfortunately supported at this point. But basically, yeah, if it was, I could choose Discovery and then I could set it up. I didn't think it was, and my Standard Bank is my main account. There's a lot in there, and I don't need my personal info out there on what I am paying and what I'm not paying. But once this is set up, if you go back into the manage, that is where you can reauthorize your authorization of your credentials, or you can delink and relink. So it might tell you, Sage Bank Feeds account requires authorization of bank account credentials. And then you'll see that you're going to go back into that manage bank feeds and you're going to click on update login details. So basically what it's saying is, hey, whatever you've entered, I can't actually validate that this is now valid information. So my validation is not working. I need you to re-enter this to make sure that we can continue. Again, step one, always check that there is not something preventing this. Like, for example, please make sure there's no pop-up blockers, that there's no notifications. You've already, as I said, logged into your online banking and you've made sure that it's going directly to where you can view your accounts. However many there are, there's no message coming up going, hey, please note that you need to provide us with your current details for FICA purposes, etc. So that's what I mean by notification, or hey, Discovery would like to debit your account, please accept this debit order. If those things are there, it can stop the authentication. So that's step one. Step two is to come back in and re-authenticate, but normally you do get the message actually telling you that it needs to do that. If this fails, again, that is where you would need to reach out to us. Let us know and we can log it through. But as I said, guys, a lot of this stuff we have put in the troubleshooting. So for example, problems connecting to a bank feed. That could be, as I was saying, all of the different reasons. Manually type in your login details. Do not use the autofill. While in online banking, make sure you accept any changes to terms and conditions. View outstanding messages, because all of that does cause an issue. Some banks require you to approve prompts on their banking app to connect. So you might need to actually click that yes, you want the bank feed to be fetched, such as F&B. It'll actually tell you, Yodlee is trying to connect or Sage is trying to connect. Do you want to allow the connection? And you need to physically say yes, or it's not going to allow that. And some banks only allow admin users to connect to the bank feed, such as Investec. So these are things to actually look at, then checking your browsers and making sure it allows cookies. If it doesn't allow cookies, that can cause a problem. So Safari on Apple Mac, iPhone, iPad, Google Chrome, Microsoft Internet Explorer, these are the main ones people use. And yes, obviously, Sage Accounting can run on an Apple Mac, an iPhone, or an iPad because it is a cloud solution. You can access it on any device that has an internet connection and a web browser. So it's important to know that these are things that need to be done beforehand. You need to make sure that you do allow cookies on whichever browser you're going to use. You need to make sure that you're not blocking pop-ups. You need to go into your online banking first, make sure that everything is accepted, it's set up correctly. If you do get any messages saying to you, can this connect, please approve it, otherwise it's not going to. And then basically you can take it from there and you can see these are the issues that you might have. This is what you're expecting to see. This is where you can come in, and again, on manage bank feeds, update login details, you can deactivate, which means you deactivate the bank feed and then you can try to reactivate it, or you can fetch the transactions manually. So these are things that you will try before you get hold of us and go, okay, bank feeds isn't working. You make sure that online banking, as I said, and I know I sound like a broken record, but a lot of people, that's the issue. They have not accepted terms and conditions or notifications or whatever it is. Update the login details. If it allows you to come to this page, type it in, make sure those login details are going through, and then you can try to fetch the transactions manually. Obviously, deactivating and reactivating is a last resort, because a lot of the time we don't want to deactivate and then reactivate and cause duplicate transactions. At times, though, there is a problem with the linking, and that is what we need to do. If there's duplication, you can just delete the duplication. So you would try these two first, then we would go with deactivate, and that is obviously if you can get to this page. If you're at the first problem, which is, hi Joe, I'm trying to actually set up my bank feeds, but when it goes to connect to your bank, everything, this block is just fully white. You cannot get to find your bank, you cannot type in anything, and there is no banks to choose from. It's a white block. It doesn't matter how long you sit there for. Obviously, make sure that there's no pop-up blocks, that you do allow cookies. Other than that, you would need to reach out to us and we would need to have a look in the back end why the page is not displaying. So those are a couple of the tips and tricks on what you can expect. And as I said, with regards to the common errors, a lot of people are not aware that we have created this table. And guys, this can really help you. 400 errors, 500 errors. Instead of you sitting waiting for us and coming through and seeing, okay, what could be the problem, you can always come in, take a look at this and see, okay, what is the problem? What is happening? What does this mean? So here, we're sorry, currently the Yodlee component does not support the security system used by the bank's website. And basically what that means is that you are trying to link a banking system that at this point, the security system is not used. You are going to get this error because it is not yet supported. You're welcome to let us know and go, guys, I tried to connect bank XYZ. It allowed me to select whatever, but like, for example, cats. Cats, you always generate a specific key. I don't know if that's old. Sorry, guys, it's been a while. But I know that there are some where there is a specific key that is generated. Bank feeds does not have the ability to support that. They are working on supporting it, but that did cause an issue at some point. If I'm wrong about Sage Accounting, I apologize if they already have the functionality. I know Pastel didn't, and I have moved over. So there's some slight breaks in my knowledge, but not a lot. It's just more on very specific. So if any of you do know if CATS is supported and you're like, Joe, you're wrong, totally cool with that, please let me know. But I know that in Pastel Accounting, that's still quite a big one. And they're still trying to work around that security system to try to get it to work. But guys, basically you can come here and then you can check. So new login details are required by your banking institution. So this is quite literally saying, hey, something's changed on the banking side and they need you to log in and do something. Like I know with Standard Bank at one point it was just username and password. Now you can use a PIN number as well, and you can use a fingerprint and all sorts of different things as technology evolves. And so there might be a notification telling you that your banking institution itself is telling you, hey, we've got new technology. We need you to log in and recheck all of your login details. So they'll say new details, but it's because they've added a new identifier, if you will. And so basically it's going to tell you, please update your internet banking details. This is what this means. My advice again, log into your internet banking first, check everything, and then you can go update those logins. So you would update it and everything and just check everything is correct. So the solution's there. For example, 507 basically is we are not able to connect to your bank. It's in the works. So basically, we have just started providing data updates for this bank, and it may take a few days. So that's what it's telling you. And the solution is literally give it 24 to 48 hours, and then please check if everything is working. If not, let us know, and so on and so forth. So we've tried to put as many of the errors as we can. We've tried to give you solutions to them. And a lot of them are quite quick solutions. Obviously, guys, if it's not working, then that is where please reach out to us and go, look, I've tried the steps. They're not working. We need you to log a ticket. Our support guys will either log it through to the banking cloud or they will log it through to us, and we will then log it through to Dev or the banking cloud accordingly. And then we'll look through those. Does anyone have any questions with regards to the resources, how to find the resources, where to go, and basically the basic tips on bank feeds at this point? Guys, if you do have any questions, please use the question icon. You just need to type your question through to me, sorry. Just to let you know, because sometimes people do try to talk and I can't hear you, unfortunately. Okay, so a few of you are saying that actually this makes sense, you're happy, it's all good. As I did warn you a couple of weeks ago, this would be more theoretical and me showing you where to find stuff than me showing or demonstrating the exact steps, just because, as we've all said, the sensitive nature of banking. And guys, a lot of the queries that have come through over the last 2-3 weeks have mostly actually been, as I've said, with this page not displaying. Or, yes, there are known issues with a bank like Capitec. We know there's an issue at the moment. We're working on it. Most Capitec customers are affected. That is not just you. A ticket is logged with the banking cloud. They've been looking into it from this morning, as far as I'm aware, or from yesterday. And hopefully we will get an answer ASAP so that we can provide that through to you. So that is formally logged. And please let us know normally if we do see there's a problem with the banks, because sometimes they do change something. We're not aware of it. It causes a bottleneck on our side. We get hold of them, or we get hold of banking cloud gets hold of them. We know what to change on our system, and then everything starts flowing again. So definitely check, look, I've done all the steps. Is there maybe a problem with ABSA or Standard, FNB, Capitec, Nedbank, whatever your bank is? Investec, we can say yes, we are aware of an issue, or no, we're not, and then we can look into it because we have access to the back end where we can see how you linked, what accounts are linked, whether when you fetched the data was successful or not. And then the banking cloud, if it was unsuccessful, can go and check why. Is it declined? Do we need you to do something specific? But what I've noticed recently is that this screen tends to go completely blank, and that seems to be company specific. It's not everyone that experiences that, and then we need to fix it in the back end so that the page displays. So that's quite common. And then, as I've mentioned, going into online banking, removing those notifications and updating your banking details. That tends to be the most reason that people phone us in, other than duplicate transactions. Duplicate transactions are when a transaction has pulled through multiple times, and either you can go and delete them yourself, or you can get through to support and go, guys, they're duplicate transactions. I need these transactions removed. we can log that through to our development team. They can go through, see the duplicates, and they can also remove it for you. Please note that if you're waiting for our dev team, that could be a 24 to 48-hour wait though. So it's up to you whether you're happy to delete them or whether you want us to delete them. But it's not a, okay, in an hour, everything's going to be groovy. It could be a 24 to 48-hour plus wait, depending on what tickets they're working on. So, but we will keep you updated with what's happening. So guys, yeah, this was a quicker one. I wasn't sure how quick it would be. I wasn't sure what questions we would have, but most people seem to be happy. Does anyone want to ask me questions on anything else with regards to Sage accounting? Is there a process that maybe you're like, hi Joe, I know it's not about bank feeds, but I need to know about this specific thing because I can't wait 2, 4, 6 weeks for you to run a webinar on this. Could you quickly show me? Because technically, guys, I do book out an hour. So if you have any of those kind of questions, please send them through now. Otherwise, guys, I hope that this was informative. You've had a couple of tips and tricks. You've got a couple of resources where you can feel more comfortable and go, actually, I feel I know where to go to check this. With regards to bank feeds itself, I just do want to show you that you can also look for the bank feed status. Because we do also have a status page. So if you do want to go in to see, hang on, something, I don't know if it's me or if it's Sage, you can always come here and basically we'll tell you. So for example, Nedbank operational, yes, and you'll see that it'll go through. So right now, African Bank, no, it's not operational. Discovery, unavailable, and they tell you why it's unavailable. And basically you can go through that to see the status. We do update this as often as possible. As you can see, the last time it was updated was today. So we update this all the time, and that is another resource that you can use in case you want to see, is there a known issue? I'm going to put that in the chat as well. So that's also there, guys, and those are two really helpful resources. So if you have questions on banking still, totally fine. You can send that through. If you want to know anything else, please also send that through to me. I'm going to give us a couple of minutes. While I wait for you to type that through, I do want to go through the fact that our next webinar is going to be happening on the 9th of July. And again, it's always a Tuesday for Sage Accounting, so the online version. And what we're going to be going through is customer and supplier allocations with regards to tips and tricks. Some of you may be aware, but there does seem to be a bit of an issue around allocations. You may have had to log some stuff through to us. And I want to give you some tips and tricks to know when do you need to get hold of support, either via chat or email, and go, hey guys, I need this logged through to dev because I cannot see this. Or, hey, this is how I can quickly view reports to know what's happening. So that's happening on the 9th, and then on the 23rd, we're doing duplicate transactions around draft invoices. Again, guys, there's a ticket logged on this. It is an actual issue within the system. I want to tell you the update on that, what to look for, and what you need to be aware of. So guys, what I've been asked is, please may you show me another method of bank feeds when Sage has skipped transactions instead of the Excel manual method. So if Sage has skipped transactions, that can be a little bit difficult. You are welcome to manually download your statement and import it, but then that could also lead to duplication. So if this is a constant issue that's happening with regards to skipped transactions, because Excel probably is your safest to go, here's the bank statement, here's what's been imported, what's missing, and then import that. It could lead to duplicate transactions. I don't know if there's a simpler method. My advice would be to actually see if there's a pattern with the skipping And actually, please report it to us, because that's something that we might need to report to Banking Cloud and go, look, this specific bank seems to skip transactions in this range. So if we can hopefully find something that makes sense, then hopefully we can see why that's happening. Or if it does skip, let us know, look, it skipped this day, it skipped that day, it skipped this, and we can hopefully maybe send it through to Banking Cloud and see if they can see something in the background on why it's skipping those days. Because to be honest with you, the only other option would be you're welcome to download your bank statement and import it, but then my worry is now you're going to deal with duplication. Is that better than doing the Excel manual method? Neither are fun. Obviously, you're doing bank feeds to save you time. And if it's skipping transactions, I would rather us investigate why, because that is not normal. And if this is happening all the time, I would rather you let us know, go, listen here, guys, I've got an issue. It keeps skipping transactions. This is how many times it's done it over the last month. On this specific account, check, maybe it's specifically like ABSA or Standard or F&B, and then you can let us know and we can possibly investigate that for you, because I actually don't have a better method. One way is going to leave you with duplicates. The other way is you manually sussing out and then putting into the system. Both, I think, are time consuming. I'm so sorry this is happening. I would rather investigate it. Does that make sense? Sorry about that, though. That must be phenomenally frustrating. So guys, while I wait for an answer, if that makes sense, and I know it's not a great answer, yeah, awesome. I would let me know. Check if it's specific banks, check if it's happening on specific dates, and maybe is it just receipts, is it just payments, just so we can see an idea. And then I think we should investigate for you, because it shouldn't be doing that. That is not what it should be doing. That is abnormal. We need to get to the bottom of that. Guys, does anyone have any other questions with regards to Sage Accounting? Anything that you would like an answer on, maybe within banking itself, or something that maybe you need an answer, as I said, now? You can't wait for, hey Joe, can you run a webinar on dashboards and the different types of dashboards on my workspace? You know, if you don't have time to wait for that, please ask now. Otherwise, guys, basically that is the webinar. As I've said, these are the webinars that are coming up in Sage Accounting. If any of you are interested with regards to what's happening in Pastel Accounting, the next one is on Thursday, and that is on how to correctly transfer between cash books. So there is a difference between Partner and Express, and there's a different method depending on which one you're using. I know some of you are business partners, so you might be using Sage Accounting and Pastel. On the 11th of July, we've got explaining the Sage chatbot and how it works, because some people have said they found the inclusion of the chatbot quite irritating, actually. It's caused some issues, so I'd like to explain the reasoning behind it, how it works, and how you can help us improve it. And then on the 25th of July, tips and tricks on how to correctly store your company data. So we're talking about company security here, and the best way to store it. I'm going to give you some people that you can get hold of, however there's a cost involved, but also free ways of storing your data that means it will be available to you. So that's on the 50 side. Otherwise, guys, no further questions. You guys are happy? Just checking. If you are happy, that is it for the session. I will give you back some of your time. I hope that you found it informative. I hope that you have found the resources informative. Guys, please copy those links now, because the moment I end this webinar, those links will be gone. If you do not manage to copy them, or if you lose them, you're welcome to email me, joanne.barnard@sage.com, and just go, hi Joe, please can you send me the Sage Banking Cloud links so that I have those on hand? I'm happy to put them in an email for you. As well, if you guys would like the recording of this, the recording should be available from tomorrow. And at some point, I will turn it into a YouTube video when I get enough time to do so. But I can send you the link from GoToWebinar if you would like to rewatch it. Otherwise, I hope that you have an amazing afternoon, a wonderful week. And guys, hopefully I will see you at future webinars that I'm hosting. And when you get your thank you for attending, it will ask you a number of questions. If any of you have any ideas with regards to webinars that you would like me to host, because this is for you guys, please fill in that survey so that we know either what I did badly and how I can improve, or what topics you would like me to run webinars on, because we want to make sure that you are getting the most out of these free sessions. As I said, have a great week, rest of your day, a wonderful week further, and hopefully I'll catch you at the next one if there are no further questions. Please feel free to log out. Ciao, ciao. I will be available for the next couple of minutes in case there are any further questions. But otherwise, guys, you're welcome to log out, and see you soon. Bye.